Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. I came across this article thanks to attorney Jeremy Hogan. It just popped up in my Twitter feed. The headline is, "The SEC is treating Ripple like a Ponzi schemer, not a shaper of money's future." Now, this was written by J.W. Verrett, who is a former SEC advisory committee member. He was on that committee until just a bit earlier this year, so he was working directly with Kim Jong-Gensler. And he goes on to make a number of incredible points in this video. You're really going to like this one. What I found to be most fascinating is the multiple reasons why Ripple literally, even if they wanted to, couldn't register XRP with the SEC. So this Kim Jong-Gensler comment that you keep hearing, just come in and talk to us, register your token. Ripple literally can't do that. So they can't do it, but they also can't use it because reasons, so they can't eat it no matter what. It's just, nope. It's completely ridiculous. So this is going to be a fun one. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now, for those of you looking at the screen right now, you may have noticed that I have a number of tabs opened that start with Yeezy up here. Is Moon Lambo looking for some new kicks? Does he want to buy some Yeezy footwear or other apparel? No, Moon Lambo does not and will not ever buy Yeezy apparel for a number of reasons, which will be seen momentarily. But why am I even talking about this? Well, look at this tweet from Jake Chervinsky, who is a very well-known attorney within the world of crypto. And he tweeted out the following, which kind of illustrates the point that the underlying asset, in the SEC v. Ripple case, of course, would be XRP, but the underlying asset is not a security. You know, an asset existing doesn't constitute a scheme. So here's what attorney Jake Chervinsky had to say. And attorney Hogan actually responded to this, and I'll share his comment in just a second. But Jake Chervinsky said, under the SEC's current interpretation of Howey, Yeezys are securities, and Kanye should have been registered as a public reporting company to protect sneaker owners from undisclosed risks related to his future behavior. The SEC's current interpretation of Howey is clearly wrong. And so, of course, he's referencing here musical sensation, if I may, and lyrical genius Kanye West, self-described, Kanye West, who had, past tense, his Yeezy brand with Adidas. It was, my understanding is it was bringing in something like $2 billion a year in top line sales, $2 billion a year. I read that in the headline somewhere. I think that number's right. The Yeezy brand, and my God, it's a multi-billion-dollar brand of hideous shoes and footwear. So like these products, which are allegedly designed to serve as footwear, are offensive to the eye. If you have a human eyeball, it will offend you. But Kanye West, and I'm not going to make social or political commentary on this, but just to make sure everybody's on the same page. It's been in the news, so most of you probably know this. Kanye West has been saying a bunch of bonkers S-words. I almost cursed, actually. But that part's not the bizarre part. He's been saying weird stuff for the whole time he's been in the limelight, but he said stuff that is truly repugnant. Not getting into it. You can Google if you're more curious than that. But he said some truly horrendous things recently. And as a result, he's been getting dropped left and right by all sorts of business partners they had, including Adidas. And so you can see, here's a headline from Fortune. Kanye West is keeping quiet after reportedly losing his coveted billionaire status. Here's the money he lost. And so he's no longer a billionaire. Apparently, the whole Yeezy thing with Adidas accounted for like $1.5 billion worth of his wealth or something like that. And now he's only worth a measly $400 million or something like that. Yeah, measly $400 million. But these, you want to see the securities? Can I show you a picture of some of the underlying securities? Because the way that the SEC's talking, these alleged footwear items are securities. Oh, feast your eyes on this. And if you can take a look, even if you weren't planning on looking at this latest Moon Lambo hot jam on the stream, because I know a lot of people just listen, you might want to do so for this one. What the hell is this? What is on the screen right here? This is, I found a website that sold a bunch of Yeezy products. All of them are out of stock now, but not available, of course. But this is a Yeezy Foam Runner Ararat. I don't know how you say that. This monstrosity was $228. What in the ever-loving hell? So as it turns out, there was a $2 billion market of humans who want to buy very ugly footwear. It is astonishing to me. Here's another one. So that one, like I said, $220. Here's another version that's got some additional color to it. That one's $339. Then there's this, which made me laugh hysterically before recording this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam. Like, I used to think that perhaps Crocs were the worst footwear on the entire planet, but then I saw this. It's some sort of sandal or flip-flop that's... Something went wrong in the design process. Like something's amiss here. What am I even looking at? I can't believe humans are wearing this stuff. Are they really? Well, apparently not though, because as Jake Chervinsky points out, a lot of people are actually just buying this footwear as collectibles. They actually are. Like people are actually doing it. And look at this one. Oh my God, this is the ugliest damn tennis shoe I've ever seen. But there are people that desire this. And so, hey, great. So I understand if there's a market for this. Cool. I'm a pro-capitalism dude, but it doesn't mean that everybody's going to find it appealing. And I just find it astonishing that some people do find this appealing. Look at this. And then you look at this shoe, $187. It's like when they designed this, it's like they forgot what the shape of the human foot is. Like, what the hell going on back here? What the hell's going on back here? Ain't no need for that much room. I don't even understand that. And then this weird one, like I just had on the screen a second ago, $314. So anyway, but to make the broader point, there's a Twitter user goes by the name Law Toshi retweeted that from Chervinsky and wrote, and this is insightful. He said, most compelling argument in Ripple's motion for summary judgment brief. In every single case applying Howey that found an investment contract, purchaser had a claim to profits of the enterprise, not just common interest in market price of an object being sold, oil, sneakers, whatever. Exactly. The underlying asset. That is the case. There's nothing else except for at a trial level, as attorney Jeremy Hogan points out, that found otherwise. And those are all crypto projects. So attorney Hogan says, yes, except for a couple of recent trial level decisions involving crypto projects. Ironically, all Ripple needs is the application of traditional securities law to its situation. Isn't that kind of interesting? That's more than a little interesting. So other than the recent decisions on it at a trial level having to do with specifically with crypto projects, there's nothing out there, period, that found that the underlying asset was some sort of security. So then you might be asking, why is it that the SEC is treating Ripple as though they're a Ponzi schemer rather than the shaper of money's future? Well, that's what this article in Real Clear Markets is getting at here, and this is written by J.W. Verrett. The Securities and Exchange Commission's case against Ripple, the largest case it has brought against a defendant working in the crypto industry to date, has been heating up this month with a series of summary motions and some big discovery losses for the SEC. The SEC alleges in the case that one test for a security required to register with the SEC, contained in the 1946 Supreme Court case SEC v. Howey, applies to the XRP token that is used by Ripple. The SEC should admit the secret it isn't saying out loud to the court and everyone watching the case. The test used in the SEC v. Howey case is typically used by the SEC to sue hucksters, Ponzi schemers, and other conmen who sell fake securities. The Howey test is a way to stop them, not a means to facilitate registration with the SEC. The Howey test is usually a cudgel to fight frauds that can't register, but it usually hasn't mattered because the underlying project is a scam and a fraud, something not alleged or contemplated in the SEC's case against Ripple. Crypto projects are unlike traditional companies. There is no centralized board of directors or company or bank or underwriter in the middle intermediating capital. The state of technology has evolved such that a disaggregated group of individuals can design and deploy computer code that takes over all of these functions. That's not to say that regulated financial intermediaries won't still be involved over the next 10 or 20 years as financial markets evolve toward a decentralized crypto future, because they will. That transition will take time. Meanwhile, the SEC's rules need to rationally evolve. The SEC could respond to the many calls for reasonable reshaping of rules like the token safe harbor for crypto projects proposed by Commissioner Hester Peirce. Or it could also use its exemptive authority. But Chairman Gensler's repeated exhortation to come in and talk to us about registering your token without defining what that means is not rulemaking. So I'll just pause and note, the rest of what's coming up here is pure fire. It rips to shreds this idea. Oh, come in and register with it. Well, you can't, damn it. And here's why. Check this out. These broader dynamics are not irrelevant to the decision in the case against Ripple. The judge should not ignore, in a case alleging that sale of XRP should have been registered with the SEC as a sale of security, that Ripple literally isn't able to register the XRP token. It's just one example of the complications here. Under generally accepted accounting principles, you cannot list on your balance sheet an asset you do not control. Asking Ripple to list the XRP token and file financial information about the XRP network, much like asking the same for a party working on another crypto network like Ethereum, doesn't make sense from a securities law or accounting perspective. And check out this comparison. I really love this. He says, it would be the functional equivalent of telling Google they must list the internet as an asset on its balance sheet because Google's value is closely connected to the internet. I love that one. Securities laws and generally accepted accounting principles wouldn't allow Google to make such a misleading balance sheet counting to the internet as a Google-owned asset. And they similarly won't allow an entity to register XRP or ETH either. So pause. This is such fire. This is so true. The SEC's asking Ripple to do something, or said Ripple should have done something that they literally could never have done. Not even possible. And that's why I've also said before, even if Ripple tried, they'd never do this. If Ripple tried to register XRP, I'd personally be offended, and you should too. Because they don't control it. Like, how presumptuous of them to think that the decentralized XRP ecosystem is theirs to register as if they own it. Hell no. And of course, again, Ripple would never do that, but it makes the point. That's why this is stupid as hell. Bunch of dumbasses at the SEC. Peace continues. The court should take judicial notice of the fact that the SEC's admonition that XRP and every other crypto token should register as a security is obsequious, and that such a forceful statement is misleading given the barriers to registration. Using the Howey test to halt the burgeoning trillion-dollar crypto market in this way, with a 75-year-old test that doesn't fit, seems a perfect fit for a growing Supreme Court doctrine called the Major Questions Doctrine. That doctrine has already been used to strike down a similar effort by the Environmental Protection Agency to expand the reach of its power using ill-fitting regulatory tools. And by the way, I'll just pause note, I talked about that in a recent video. It's been touted in Crypto Median. It's just another example of government overreach trying to do stuff that it shouldn't do. That's why it's always mind-boggling to me that there are people out there that want the government to have more power and do more stuff. They're not good at stuff. Anyway, Peace continues. Rather than a Supreme Court showdown over the Major Questions Doctrine that the SEC is likely to lose, the agency would be smarter to end its regulation by enforcement and engage with crypto reform proposals to update its approach to crypto regulation. It updated its rules, albeit slowly, to evolve with the times during the rise of internet communications. It should do the same thing now with crypto. If not, courts should take a second look at Howey. They should also consider at the Major Questions Doctrine, particularly in light of the fact that the SEC has ignored various calls for a reasonable way for crypto projects to comply with registration requirements and sought to stretch its authority far beyond what Howey contemplated. Golf clap for Mr. Baird, everybody. That is fire. I really enjoyed that one. And I think a lot of people don't even realize that you can't register these decentralized cryptocurrencies that they say, that the SEC claims you're supposed to come in and register. You cannot do it even. And another reason is too, and it wasn't cited in this article, Brad Garlinghouse was talking about this actually, but you have to know, like, if you're selling, because again, if you're the central authority and, it's your security, well, you as the issuer, if you will, you have to know every single entity and individual that is purchased. But given the way that XRP changes hands on secondary markets, you can't. It is impossible. There's no way that could happen. So that's another reason this registration. It's all just a regulatory land grab. That's all that this is. And Gary Gensler is using this as means to an end. That he really is. I think that he just wants a higher, bigger, better job. And I think that's pretty much it. And not even for money, just for his own personal ego. I think that's pretty much it. So let me know what you know. You guys gonna go buy some Yeezys now? Okay, let's take another look at some of these things before we wrap up the video. Oh my God, this is offensive to the eye. Why? No, stop it. Oh my God, these things are hilarious. These are the most hideous alleged footwear devices I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's so shocking to me. Like, some people actually think they're good looking, but now mind you. Old man Moon Lambo here. I'm 39 years old. Maybe I'm just not hip with the youths. And okay, maybe that's all that it is. But my gosh, this shoe's missing some pieces. Like, I don't know. I read about and no. Oh man. I bet that everybody at the SEC, those dumbasses, I bet they all wear Yeezys. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.